Hey guys, this is Entity from DeucesCracked. In today's video, we're going to explore fold equity a little bit more, focusing on different ways that we can approximate it and learning how we can maximize it in specific situations. For those who need a quick reminder, we're using the term fold equity to refer to the percentage chance that our opponent will fold when we bet or raise. Fold equity calculations require knowing three main things. First, you need to know your opponent's range. Second, you need to know what your hand looks like. And third, you need to know what your opponent will do with different hands in their range versus what your hand looks like. When you're looking to maximize fold equity, you're looking for one of a few things. First, your opponent's range needs to be wide. Second, your perceived range needs to be strong. And third, your opponent's range needs to be narrow, but can have lots of weak holdings in it. When your opponent's range is wide and your hand looks strong, fold equity will be high. Let's take a look at this hand, for example. It's folded to the button, a loose aggressive player who raises. We call him the big blind. The flop is king of spades, nine of spades, five of clubs. We check, our opponent bets, and we call. The turn is the ace of diamonds. We check, our opponent bets, and we raise. Why do we raise? We're raising because our fold equity is high. Our fold equity is high for two main reasons. First, our opponent's hand range is wide. Because this card is a good bluffing card for him, his range is going to be wider for betting this turn than it might normally be. Additionally, when we check call this flop and check raise the turn, our perceived range, aka what our hand looks like, is usually pretty strong. It doesn't really matter what we actually have in this specific hand because we're just looking for a situation when fold equity is very high. And this is one of these situations because we nail two of the criterion. First, our opponent's hand range is wide, and second, our hand looks strong. What about when our opponent's range isn't wide? Let's say that our opponent would only bet if he had a pair, a gut shot, or a flush draw, and would rarely have a pure bluff on the turn. In that case, it's pretty obvious that even though our perceived range may be strong, our fold equity is still going to be pretty low. We need our opponent to be betting the turn with enough hands that they can feel like they can't call a check raise with in order for us to have high fold equity. You can use tools like Combinator and Odds Oracle to take a look at how hand ranges connect with different board textures. Our calculating fold equity videos show how to use these tools to calculate fold equity, which will allow you to progress from guessing if a bluff is good to knowing if a bluff is good. As always, if you have any questions, please ask them in the forums. This has been Entity for DeucesCracked, signing off.